What are your expectations for Lincoln Riley in year number 1 with USC?
How about that? To get double-digit wins, a little bit of plus money there. So if you're anticipating 10 wins from a typical USC team, you say, you know what, that makes a little bit of sense. But it is kind of interesting, as we put it, where Lincoln Riley goes from University of Oklahoma out to the West Coast here, brings a really good quarterback along with him, and somehow through the NIL picks up the Bolitnikoff Award winner to slap it wide receiver. So right off the bat, you're saying to yourself, an offensive guru here calling the plays, a dominant quarterback that looks like he can be one of those mixes, Kevin, over the next few years in the Heisman Trophy race, and a wide receiver that's probably penciled in for 1,300 yards at the least this year for USC. So those things are good, but this isn't one of those USC teams that he's inheriting like the Pete Carroll days where it's first-round draft pick after first-round draft pick after first-round draft pick. He's going to have to do some recruiting out there and certainly hit the recruiting trail quite hard. But if you're looking for a landing spot at USC this season, Kevin, you go over the schedule. How many times have we looked at the SEC teams? Oh, look at this, murderer's row. You got to go in and week out. If I'm looking at SC's tough games at Utah, which, yes, will be a tough game. Notre Dame to end the season at home, that will be a tough game. But in between, there should be a lot of wins on the schedule. So, as I said, this isn't one of those USC teams because it is a new regime coming to town. You just roll your helmet out there and beat football teams. But my goodness, Kevin, where are the losses coming from? Arizona? Arizona State? Washington State, Oregon State. I don't see it there. So I wanted to actually fade the USC Trojans coming into 2022, but I look at that schedule and say to myself, they realistically should have 9 wins in the bag, and you're just waiting on one of those other games where it's, okay, can you beat Utah even if you don't? Can you beat Notre Dame even if you don't? You still have a little bit of leeway in there to get wins elsewhere. I want to like the Trojans this year when I didn't, Kevin. Over 9.5 plus 115, I actually think they can get to 10 wins.
So the interesting thing is I've wondered is perhaps the schedule the gap, right? If you're an AP voter, right, DRS, you don't factor in the schedule when you're doing your power rankings there, right? Maybe that is the gap. Because to your point, at Utah is the only game where you're looking and going, okay, they're an underdog. The Notre Dame game, could they be slight? Maybe, but there's a lot of different things that would have to happen from now until we get to the last game of the season. But again, that your cap is 2 football games.